This is not a normal vlog for us.
No, we probably won't be talking about cheese. We won't be laughing as much as we do. I doubt it, at least. And I definitely won't be talking to every person that walks by.
We are in Poland this week.
And so today we're visiting Auschwitz and Birkenau concentration camps.
In 2014, we sold all of our possessions,
Quit our jobs and set off as a family for a one-year adventure in Costa Rica.
The 1 year was not enough.
so we rolled up our sleeves and figured out how to make this journey continue.
We are WorldTowning.
Join our family,
Largo,
Jessica,
Avalon,
And Will, as we travel the world
to connect deeply to local cultures, go on epic adventures,
and grow closer as a family. It's gonna be heavy, guys, so if you decide this isn't for you, we understand. We chose to shoot this in 2 days. So yesterday we took a 6-hour tour with the kids, and out of respect for the people that have passed and to be present with our children as well as to learn ourselves, we shot very little. We will do some flashbacks to that time, but today we're gonna take you on the journey of the things that we thought were, everything's important, but the things that we thought were the most important to share with you. We are currently in Auschwitz I. There are 3 camps in the area, and we're going to visit Auschwitz I and Auschwitz II, which is usually referred to as Birkenau.
Now, what made this place really interesting to the Germans is that this place was centrally located on a main railway station line. So between Warsaw and Austria to the west, there was an infrastructure already in place, and right here was where they had a main junction, which made it easy for Germans to bring in supplies and bring in people and make this place a ideal place to house prisoners.
And it was already built as an army barracks, so they didn't have to build it from the ground up. Yesterday on our tour, the most profound statistic I heard was that 1.3 million people arrived here to Auschwitz I and Auschwitz II, and 1.1 million people died. That number is huge. It's huge.
And the people that were imprisoned here were primarily Polish political prisoners, Soviet POWs,
Jehovah's Witnesses,
Roma, people from Romania,
homosexuals, and they were housed at Auschwitz I, and then all the Jewish people that came here. Some were held here later on, but most of them were in Auschwitz II.
And of the 1.1 million people who died, 900,000 of those were Jewish. So basically, 1 out of every 6 people who were Jewish who died during the Holocaust died within here in Auschwitz II.
And 6 million Jews died during the Holocaust across the board at all concentration camps and in other ways. It's horrific amount. I'm not gonna cry through this whole video.
We're gonna take you around this place and show you what this place looked like, because it's pretty much well intact so far.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of you are curious to if it was appropriate to bring the kids here and our thoughts on it and how we prepared the kids. So for us, we felt that at this point, our kids were ready for this magnitude of a concentration camp. We've been traveling in Europe for a year and a half.
They've had a lot of exposure to the history. They've been on a bunch of tours with historians. We've studied D-Day at great lengths. They've watched documentaries. We've also visited Dachau and Terezin concentration camps. There's been a lot of open conversation in our family, as well as discussions after we read a book or they watch a documentary about how they feel. From my opinion and Will's opinion, our kids were ready for this. But a lot of people ask us, you know, should we take kids here? I think you need to base it on your kid and their level of knowledge and understanding of the event, and also how it emotionally impacts them. Not only adults that came to Auschwitz.
There was also a lot of kids. Now this camp, about 232,000 kids
arrived here on the trains.
Within Auschwitz I and Auschwitz II, of which
immediately
210,000 kids were sent to the gas chamber.
Which left only 22,000 kids that were actually registered here and admitted and became part of the community here. And of those 22,000, only...
On that January day when the Soviets liberated the camp, about 650 kids were liberated, of which 450 were under the age of 15.
And the youngest liberated child was 2 years old.
But the thing is this, though. I mean, when they lived here, they actually still were kids. They still decorated the area. They still had hope. They still believed that life was going to continue after the war, and they decorated their life as such.
I mean, some of them you could tell with the drawings that were on the walls that they could feel the tragedy, and others they had so much color and light and life and flowers that they had hope that life would go back to the way it was. And I think that says a lot about kids and their resilience.
So this is really ominous, what we're seeing here, and we are...
It's just a lot to take in. I mean, it really, really is. Be prepared when you come here. Do your research. I mean, it's tough. It's really hard. And
to know that you're walking through the areas where people basically only had a 6-month life expectancy.
Right. The life expectancy at Auschwitz I was 6 months, and at Birkenau it was 2 to 3 months.
Right. So this was the preferred location to be at. However, walking through these areas, all these buildings have been turned into, at this point, like exhibits, not all of them, most of them, and memorials, and you can see a lot of what life was like and a lot of the remnants of what's been left behind.
So there was one we went in that they requested we not film in out of respect for the people who have passed, and we absolutely respect that. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. They had the hair of 40,000 women. They were killed, but before they killed them in the gas chamber, they took their hair off, and then they used it for wigs and resale. And this display behind a glass of all the hair was something they found in a warehouse when the camp was liberated, and they put it on display. And for me, that was the hardest part for me to process, and everything we saw.
You really just have to have the right mindset when you come here that this is not a day in the park.
No, absolutely not. But it is a profound education. And if I had my way, I'd send everyone here, like from age 15 on, probably.
Or in our case, 10.
Overall, what did you guys think about the experience at Auschwitz and Birkenau?
Personally, I don't think it was as bad as Dachau was.
In what respect? How was it different than Dachau?
I think the tour guide on Dachau wasn't, like, I don't know how to say this, but was like, he wasn't a better tour guide, but he was like more gruesome information, I'd say.
The hierarchy of the camp depended on the color of the triangle. So the color of the triangle played a key role in organizing the camp. For example, if you were marked with a red triangle, you had shown political resistance. This camp was dominated by the so-called politicians. Other camps were dominated by criminals.
I think that Auschwitz I is pretty small for what its like reputation, yeah. I think that Auschwitz II Birkenau is much worse.
It is, most definitely.
Why do you think it's worse?
It's huge. It's really big.
Don't cover me, babe. Your shadow's hanging over me. Breathe on me, just breathe on me. And don't cover me, babe. Don't lay yourself on top of me. I don't want us to start again. I'll get it in, I'm not your friend. Oh, oh. When everything's been said and everything's been done, I'll be down the street, all passed out on rum, 'cause I'm trying to forget.
So we're now at Auschwitz II, Birkenau. Now when the Germans arrived over at Auschwitz I, the main camp, they realized that that main camp was not enough. They realized that they can actually do more. So with the train tracks right over there, they can build this massive mega camp. Auschwitz I, Auschwitz II became the largest camp in all of Nazi Germany. This place that we're standing on right now was loaded with villagers, and they moved them all to another place to create this secondary camp, basically 2 kilometers long and 800 meters wide, and just horrible. So when the prisoners arrived, they basically arrived right into the camp. The Nazis built an offshoot right into the camp so that there was no way of escape.
And once they exited the train cars, they were immediately separated, women and children to one area, men to another. They took their luggage away from them, telling them that they would see it again. They never saw their luggage again, and most of them never saw their family members again.
Right, so this place that we're at right now is called the selection area, and this is where essentially every prisoner was evaluated for whether they were going to be meant for work or meant for extermination immediately. And so the doctors would sit right over there and they would say whether they looked healthy or not, and they'll be either moved towards the gas chambers or towards the barracks, and it happened just like that.
And at the height of the extermination camps, 75 to 85% of the people that exited these railroad cars right behind us immediately went to the gas chambers. And almost all children went immediately to the gas chambers. This is a typical railroad car that people would arrive on, and there would be a gentleman who would sit up here to monitor them, and then it would house between 75 to 100 people. Barely, some of them had a little window like this, but most of them had no windows. They had just a bucket to use the restroom in, and standing room only. There was no heat, there was no ventilation, so it was either extremely cold or extremely hot. And when they made it here to Birkenau, many people were dead on arrival. They were shipped from all over in Europe, as far north as Sweden, in these cars, and sometimes they would be in them for up to 7 to 10 days before they arrived here. And at the back end, each cart had someone who watched over it in a little house. I don't really know why, because it doesn't look like there would be any way for them to escape, so.
It's really impressive being here when it's like just us. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 other people here. It's really early in the morning, but amazing looking at sort of what this place is all by yourself and just being able to soak this all in.
Yeah, it's making me really sad. Because it's so ominous and no one's here, and it feels like I'm okay with feeling sad because we have to learn about this and be here and be present. And I actually do recommend coming here, because most people go to Auschwitz first, and then they come here after. And we came here really early this morning. I think it was like 7:30 and the doors were open. And you get to truly experience and kind of be with your thoughts and process this a bit. I actually thought when we went to Auschwitz it would be kind of these crazy tours and loud and everything, and honestly the tours, everyone has headsets and it's really quiet and calm, and you can't hear someone yelling from another tour or anything. So it's quite quiet and gives you time to reflect and process at Auschwitz as well, but here even more so. I mean, this is my 4th concentration camp visit. If you count Auschwitz I, Auschwitz II as 2 separate camps, even though they weren't really, and this is the hardest one to take. You just walk in those gates. There's no trees, there's nothing. It's just barrack after barrack after barrack. So I think coming here, particularly if you're coming with other people and you kind of all need to process it, come here early and take your time and be able to have that opportunity to talk with your family and your children about this. But it's a lot.
So we're in one of the barracks now, and all the barracks that sit here, these are all the originals. Nothing has been replaced. Maybe a roof has been reconstructed to make sure that the actual structure does not fall apart, but these are where the prisoners slept. These bunks, which are replicas, but essentially they slept 3 in a bed each, and the way that it worked out was that the strongest ones, probably the newest arrivals, would be the ones who slept up on top. Why do people want to sleep on top? Well, because there's a lot of dysentery, a lot of sort of gastro issues here because the water wasn't very safe. People up on top did not have to suffer any type of excrement on them. I know it sounds disgusting, but that's how people survived here. The strong survived until they became weak, and then they went down the rungs one by one until they just couldn't handle it anymore.
Right now we are sitting in front of one of the gas chambers at Birkenau. And once the Nazis realized the camp was going to be liberated, they bombed it so that they would get rid of all evidence of the gas chamber.
Right. This place could hold up to 2,000 people at one time in terms of a mass extermination. People would get undressed right in front, and then they would walk inside, go through the gas chamber.
And they would do up to 2 killings a day. But for the entire camp, they could actually kill 12,000 people in one day.
Right. And then
it's
after
more
the
than
gas
any other
chamber,
camp, right?
It's horrific, because after the gas chamber, then they would just put them into the crematorium, right, sort of connected to it, and then within sort of 2 hours, they were able to...
They would do another killing.
Exterminate everyone.
What I found particularly interesting was that the gas chambers were actually created because the German soldiers were unable to watch and kill the prisoners without it psychologically affecting them. So they wanted to come up with another way to dispose of the prisoners that wouldn't affect the German soldiers or the Nazis emotionally. What was the most upsetting thing that you heard or saw on today's tour?
The most upsetting thing that I saw on the tour was most likely all the children's clothes and all all the shoes and all the pots and pans and everything that people had brought with them that they had sorted, because it really put things into perspective, and it made me think, but that's not all, because they had sent off a ton of it to other people to be sold. So it was really crazy.
I think the most upsetting thing that I heard was that like 75% of the people were immediately gassed.
Yeah, it was bad.
When the time is right and I'm not alone, I will conquer this and bring you home. When this world has stopped and the breeze is up, when the time is right, I'll sing you a song. Hey, I'll sing you a song. Hey, I'll sing you a song. When the horn don't blow, I'ma let you know. When the story fails, I'ma be the tale. When your spirit's out and you're full of doubt, when you're far from found, I hold ground. Hey, I hold ground.
So we're now standing at the memorial that's been set up for the Holocaust remembrance, and I think we've been here long enough to appreciate what's been happening here, and I think that we've shown you exactly what it felt like to be walking through these steps like we have.
I hope we did a good job. I hope we honored the people that have passed. I hope we try to be as respectful as we every moment when we were shooting. 700,000 people would visit this site 10 years ago, and today it's as much as 2 million a year, and I think that says
that there's a lot to be learned, and people are starting to appreciate the fact that it's history like this which is going to remind us what it's like to not repeat it in the future. This camp was liberated on January 27th, 1945, in which of the 1.3 million people that passed here, only 7,000 were liberated.
And 650 of those were children.
And I just hope that at this point you realize, as much as we have, that traveling this world like we have at this point is not just about seeing the sights and checking off bucket lists, but it's about remembrance and about paying your respects to those who have created this world that we have now, so that we can have the future and the freedoms that we do have.
And it's about not always visiting the happy places, but going to the places that are necessary. I think this, to me, this is this was the most important visit we could take with our kids as WorldTowners.
And
with that, we pay our respect.
We pay respect. What do you think that you've learned most about this?
Don't let...
I know.
I know.
Don't let history repeat itself.
I also learned, don't give poison to adults who act like toddlers. It'll turn out very badly.
Today's question of the blog is a little bit of a heavier one. Would you take your children, teenagers, to a concentration camp? I know it's a controversial topic. Some people just don't want to expose their kids to that. Others think it's really important for their kids to learn about history very early on so that they don't repeat it or support events that repeat it. So let's share in the comments. I think the more we share about how we handle a topic like this, the better we can help each other.
What are you wearing?
I'm in hiding.
Yeah.
I'm cold. It's starting to get cold here, guys. It's starting to get cold.
This is our last moment in Poland, at least at Auschwitz.
We'll be back.
And we will be back in Poland. We'll be back in Poland. I honestly feel like, Poland is one of those countries that doesn't get enough credit for what it has.
And I think we need to see more of it, because this vlog is just a tiny piece of Poland, even though it's a huge part of history.
Right.
So if you guys are feeling inspired, please give us a thumbs up, comment.
And if you want to see more what we're doing, because next we're going to Slovakia. Who doesn't want to see Slovakia? Well, then subscribe. Okay. With that, we are leaving. Goodbye, and
see you next time.
See you in Slovakia. Bye.
Bye.
This is like a crazy bomb shelter, like right by the hotel that we're staying at, by the campsite.
Hi. Oh.
I mean, look at
yes,
this.
We're here for dinner.
This is like a real deal bomb shelter. I don't know who's in here. There could be homeless people.
Hey, no!
Whoa, 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 whoa!